Uh-huh. That's the idea. There we go. Brock, can you please not show my face? Hey, there we go. We got this. We got this. God. Okay, well, I'm going to pull you back a little. Aloha, guys. Good evening. All right, we got this. That's not it. Okay, here we go. This will get easier. God damn it. You know what? After we're done, I'm gonna play around with some more setups.
You go for it, dude. Joy will fall asleep. Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Maybe
The fan on
another time.
the fan on you is good. Is the fan alright?
Yep.
You gonna turn it off? Let me know.
Oh no, you're good.
I just don't want to get stung by a bee. But then the lights are over there, so that's fine. Hey Sandy, thank you for the stars. Mahalo. Hey Uilani, how's it? Brenda, how's it?
I'm not gonna have beef. I'm gonna smell.
And it's quiet now. I mean, it's cold tonight too, so no more bees. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's put a little light out.
I'll just call the bees.
Okay, maybe not.
Go ahead, put your light on. Let's see if they come.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, well, we'll see if they come. It's dark. They shouldn't be coming. We'll see if that makes any sense.
How did you get here?
I drove. Okay. So yeah, we have things set up over here. Too much light? There we go. Whoop. Sucker. Bruh. And now I have to go through my maze of tripods. There we go. Melody, how's it? Huh?
No.
Oh.
I'm just being a smart ass.
That's okay. I can't read anything because I just got blinded. So aloha guys, good evening. We're going to be sharing ghost stories. If you have any recommendations on the setup, go ahead and let me know. I have the iOvilus app on the right, and I got to turn it on. Hold on.
Ovilus on.
Yes. And I have the GhostTube app on the left. The Ovilus app will say random words randomly, and the GhostTube will say words or phrases randomly as well. And on my right, I have the... You know what? I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm just going to focus on storytelling. Another iPad with the app on. But yeah, hey Cheryl, how's it? And Melody, yep. Brad, how's it, Brad? Good to see you, brother. Catching up with all that energy this week. Oh yeah, dude. Hey, every night, bro. Every night this month. Yeah. Hey Neil, how's it? Wow. So here's something interesting to keep in mind. On Samsung phones, the messages on YouTube stay, but on the iPhones they don't. Huh.
That's weird.
That is very weird. Hey Sandra, how's it? Hey Janice, how's it? Darren, aloha. Happy Aloha Friday. Today is Friday. Yes. Cassie, how's it? So yeah, hey Janine, aloha. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna put the light a little more forward because it's really invading my sight. I can't see anything.
April.
April. What about April? There we go. Samsung got nothing to hide. Hey Scott, how's it? This a little bit. Oh wait. I'm joined here by Hinsu and Joy. Wheat. Haven't gotten that word in a long time. Okay, I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm not touching anything anymore. Yeah. Yeah, I got Minsu with me and Joy as well. We're just here hanging out, cruising. Yes, like and subscribe. Thank you, Melody. And yeah, so now that the chaos is hopefully done with flying phones and stuff, hopefully there's no bees, but we'll see. Um, shall we begin the story? I hope everyone's doing all right. I had a wonderful day. No bees yet. It's cold, so we'll see if that stays true. I figure it's a lot better. It's a lot more entertaining for you guys to see the grass in the back than just pitch black. Yeah. Uilani says hi to Minsu and Joy.
Hi.
Exit.
April, wheat, and
Hammer.
exit, and hammer. Okay. Um. Wow, that thing doesn't usually give a lot of.
I'm following you.
I'm following you.
Well,
Well, did you like and subscribe too? Okay, so I was talking story today with this lady at work, and actually, and a friend of mine messaged me as well, and we were kind of catching up a little bit. A friend that I haven't talked to in a long time, and he didn't know that I did the ghost stuff. That's how long it's been, you know. And he wanted to know. And this other lady that I went to go fix her alarm at her house, we started talking story about this too. She was a storyteller, really cool too, really cool one. Um, she wanted to know how I got involved in this and how this all started, as did my friend, because he didn't really know. And so I figured that's a good subject for tonight's live. But basically, in a nutshell, I grew up in a haunted house. I've always been into the paranormal. I've always believed in ghosts and spirits. Actually, come to think of it, that came up on Sunday as well. I went to go bless a house, and I ended up explaining why hauntings happen sometimes. It's not a simple matter of, oh, the house is haunted.
Ascend.
Now we got to get rid of the ghost. Ascend. Okay. It's not like, oh, the house is haunted, so now we got to get rid of the ghost. It's more or less, we need to figure out why your house is haunted. Yeah. Hold on one second. Hey, Kaleo, how's it? Hey, Hawaiian. Hey, Brenda, Annie, everybody, how's it? I don't know what just dinged. Aussie, how's it? We're still at Judd tonight.
Oh,
Hope. Okay. And so, like, sometimes the houses are haunted, and it because the things that were happening in the house didn't initially sound as bad. It sounded like, and I even when I went
Legion.
into the house, Legion. Oh, shut up. When I went into the house, I could feel it in the room. The one, and nobody had lived in that house for a while, like years.
cannot.
And so when I walked in, I could feel it, and it wasn't like harmful per se, but it was persistent. It was thick. It was permeating. That's a good word for it. Um, but it didn't cause harm. We went through the whole history, and it doesn't cause harm. It doesn't scratch. It doesn't try to possess. And so, in my opinion, it's not an evil spirit. It's just something that tries to get your attention. You know, and so I'm not gonna go in there with the tea leaf waving and casting stuff out and that kind of stuff. It's more or less we're gonna clear the house, and then
Agent.
we're gonna try to see about being pono. Yeah, because things are happening now. Our values are changing. Day to day is changing so much and so fast, where we need to remember and get back to our roots. And for a lot of people, that involves getting in touch with the spirit and stop thinking that we can control everything, right? Like, I can't bless the house and get rid of this if this is actually a lesson that you're supposed to learn. I talked to the person that ran the house, and I said, now this is your job. You are the boss. You need to stick up for your family. You need to protect your family. This is your job. You need to learn how. We are here to help you through every step of the way if you need it. But you need to protect yourself and your family. And by learning how to do that, you learn how to make pono. It was similar with me growing up. We moved from New Valley to Kaneohe when I was 5. And the house we moved into was lottery houses, so we were lucky. We were like the first people chosen for the lottery house. So we got the house right on the bottom of the hill, biggest lot, that kind of stuff. Also, it came with a haunting that we didn't really know. Growing up in that
Telepathy.
telepathy, okay. Growing up in that house, I had many experiences when I was a little kid. I would be afraid of a lot of things, right? When I was a small child, there would be a ghost and a big Hawaiian man that didn't like us. And he'd be glaring at us or giving us a disappointed, stern, upset look. And so, of course, but it's a ghost, and so I was scared of it. There were times where I would get sick, but now that I think upon it more, I don't think that this was this entity. He was more upset, yeah? Hey, Faye, how's it? Ominolani, how's it? Heath, everybody, aloha, how's it? And so, we had the house blessed, and again and again and again and again and again until the Catholic priest told us we should contact the Hawaiian kahuna because the blessing isn't necessarily working. It's not that they're blessing to get evil out of the house. The presence was still there. One day, Dad takes us for a walk. We're all little kids, right? In a little wagon, takes us for a walk down the street. Right across the street from our house, there's construction workers. They're building the new house across the street still. And he walks back up the street across from our house, and there was a construction worker leaning up, just resting on the sidewalk, taking a smoke break. And so my dad walked up, said hi, and the guy just staring at our house, the construction worker, smoking a cigarette. And my dad's like, "Oh, you guys built that house too?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Yeah, I feel sorry for whoever lives in that house." And my dad laughed. He's like, "Oh, why?" Of course, he didn't know that was our house, right? He said, "Oh, when we built that house, we found a human skeleton on the property line in between the two houses when we were trying to dig up the sewage tunnel, the sewage pipe. When we were trying to lay that, there was a ancient skeleton buried with a shark tooth necklace. And so my dad found out through him. They took it to Bishop Museum. They were told to rebury the bones, rebury the shark tooth necklace. That was symbolic of a chief. I'm not sure if it was Ali'i or like Konohiki or a lesser ranking chief, right? But so they reburied him with the shark tooth necklace and apologized and just continued building the house over him. So he pointed out where on the property the chief was, and
Refuse.
we had a kahuna come over and bless. I might have been 7 or 8 years old. The kahuna came by, and my mom and dad were outside, and the kahuna took them right to where the guy had pointed, months ago or whatever,
Object.
and said there is a chief buried here.
Key.
And bro, this thing is talkative, yeah, tonight. Huh. He said there is a
Dark.
it's dark. Okay, I might have to not do this with the stories because they're distracting. When they keep quiet, it's okay, but man, we'll see. He said that there was a chief buried under there, and he's over there right now with them, and he wants to know what we're about. This chief wants to know why we are living
Yourself.
above his grave, why are we living above his bones. And so the kahuna said they're here to live now, and my parents introduced themselves, right? Faye, I got Joy and Minsu over here with me tonight. And so our parents introduced themselves and asked to live there and said, we'll take care of the property, we'll treat it with respect and all of that kind of stuff. And then it was granted. He never came back to haunt us again. He never gave us a look. And he went from a spirit that haunted us to a spirit who now protects us. Yeah? I'm sorry, I'm going to turn this thing off. It's just way too distracting for me. How you guys feeling here tonight? It shifted, yeah?
Yeah.
Once I started talking.
Yeah.
It's kind of thick.
Yeah. Haven't been hearing.
Yeah. It is, because they're picking it up over here too. Kaleo says it's strong vibes tonight. It was chill when we got here. We got here about 7:30, and it was chill.
It smells.
Oh.
Yep, it does.
It smells like what? Rotting mango.
No.
I think that's kind of distracting me as well. Hey, Mahelani, how's it? Hey, everybody, Matt, how's it? Sorry if I missed you guys. So yeah, the chief stopped haunting us, but he didn't stop coming by. Afterwards, we were taught by our parents to respect. We were told that that Hawaiian man that I would see, I was told that this is a chief and he's our guardian, he's our protector, and he watches over us. And so, okay, I accepted that after a while. Of course, I'm a little kid and I'm still scared of ghosts, right? And I see skeletons walking down the hall all the time and ghosts and that kind of stuff. But what was that? You guys didn't hear that?
Heard that?
Huh?
Right after you said, what was that?
It was like a little. It sounded like it came out of the bushes to my left. Interesting. I know why.
Everybody talking because
Yeah, they're like, oh, oh, oh.
Right.
Someone gets food. Someone gets food.
what did
Minsu
you
brought
bring?
mango because we smelled the kind mango yeah the last couple nights. I smelled it down there, and then
I
smelled it
smelled
up
it.
here.
I smelled it up here last night.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a mango over here, and there might be somebody getting hungry. We'll go do that after the live, though. But back to what I was saying, if you were to think about it, like, it's when people ask for a house to be blessed, they kind of want you to push the magic button and make everything go away, right? And this doesn't teach anything. There's no room for lesson. There's no room for pono. It's this is my house, get out. But how we did it was we ended up sharing. And it's because of that that I got to where I am today. If when I was a little kid, the Catholic priest came over, blessed the house, kicked out the Hawaiian spirit, and got rid of all that, and nothing ever happened to me in the house, I might not be sitting here doing this, right? But now because of this, I am teaching every house I bless, we try to seek pono. We try to introduce the upstairs neighbors to the downstairs neighbors and have a discussion between the two where they both acknowledge and respect each other, right? I think that's the kind of balance that we kind of need in this day and age. And that's what I had told her as well. I'm like, there may be a spirit in your house, but I'm pretty sure he was here longer than you were and longer than the house is built. So for the time being, as long as he doesn't do anything bad and he plays nice, give him the rules and just let him be, right? That kind of thing. Bacon burger? No. Mango. Bacon burger sounds good though. Okay, distractions, food. Um, so yeah, while this was happening, however, in my house, while this chief was haunting us, quote unquote, we had my grandfather, Himo, who had just passed. I would see him in the house. I would see my grandpa in our house after he passed. It was weird. I was that freaky little kid that goes into the fridge, grabs a beer, walks to the back of the hallway and puts the beer down and tells my mom, "Oh, Grandpa wants a beer." Little did I know, hanging right above where I put the beer was Grandpa's cross that came from his casket. You know, Catholic style, you get the big cross, the small cross. That was his big cross hanging on the hallway. Grandma gave it to us because we were having ghosts in our house and we needed protection. So Grandpa came and protected us from this spirit, right? Many times the chief would come and then Grandpa would come and everything would be good. Grandpa would get rid of the spirit. But after we got the blessing done by the kahuna, Grandpa never came back. We didn't need it. One of my favorite stories about that, and I remember this very vividly, probably one of my first memories was I was in the back of the house at the end of the hall, and I had a bunk bed. And of course, my feet didn't face the door, but it faced where the door was, if that makes sense. My feet didn't face the open door, but my feet were, I could see down the hall, is what I'm saying, from the top bunk. And in the middle of the night, I woke up because I heard somebody walking around, and I peeked down the top bunk, and I swear I could see something. I thought in my head, it was very vivid. I saw a skeleton, right? Because He-Man and Skeletor and all of that stuff,
Definitely.
and definitely, thank you. That's why I was afraid of skeletons, because Skeletor, right? But I kept lying in bed and I kept hearing noises and somebody walking around. So I get scared. I jump out of bed and I run across the hallway into mom's room and I jump into bed with mom. I remember looking down the hall as I ran and I saw this white figure walking opposite of me from the living room to the kitchen. And that scared this little boy half to death. So I crawled under the sheets with mom and I'm telling mom there's a ghost. I'm waking up mom, there's a ghost. There's a ghost in the house. Dad was on an airplane trip, right? He was a flight attendant. He was probably in Japan, Narita, right? So he wasn't home. It was mom and the three kids. And this was before we had cell phones. Before there was one phone in the whole house, and that phone was in the living room where this thing was. So we laid in bed for a little while, and mom was a little scared because she could hear the footsteps too, and it sounded like a grown-up's. And she didn't know if it was a robber or something, and there was no way to call for help. And then she heard the refrigerator door open and she looked confused. And then we heard the sound of soda cans or carbonated cans popping, opening up one after the other, the little tss. And she turns to me and looks at me and she just shakes her head and she's like, "Oh, Joel, don't worry. That's just grandpa.
Power.
You can go back to sleep." Power. And I'm like, "No, beer's not power, but okay." And so she said, "Go back to sleep. That's only your grandpa." So we went back to sleep eventually. I did. And then the next morning we woke up, we got into the kitchen, and there were open beer cans on the counter. Yeah. Miller, Grandpa's favorite beer. It was open. I don't think it was empty. I forget. But yeah, there were a bunch of them. And it was just, yeah, mom was like, "Oh yeah, Grandpa grabbed beer." So this is how I grew up, not really being afraid of ghosts, right? Just kind of learning about them. They're there, we're here, and it's all good. I mean, I had a lot of experiences growing up. My sister had a friend sleep over. She told me about this one, and this was after the blessing, and they all slept in the living room. And back then, hot, yeah. So we leave the door open at night. The screen door is closed, but the door is open, and she and all her friends look towards the door and see this big Hawaiian man filling up the door frame. This big silhouette of a man filling up the entire door frame, and they're just staring at him. And then this man turns around and walks away down the stairs. On the bottom of the stairs is this big picture window, right? And anybody that comes down the stairs, you can see them walk by. They didn't see anybody walk by. It just disappeared up the stairs. And so all of her friends got scared, and she was just like, "Oh, it's just a chief, nothing to be afraid of. It's good." Primo, yeah. But yeah, then for me, this is after high school actually. Me and my friends were drinking beer in our garage, and we had tiki torches, I think, and the light on or something. We're just stupid, angsty, edgy kids like that, right? Lava lamp, that kind of stuff. But remember, we had the light on for the garage, and we were drinking, and we're all sitting down on our chairs, and we watched this shadow walk across the closet. Like this man just slowly walk across the closet, and we're looking around like, "Wait a minute, where did that shadow come from?" And there was nobody there. Of course, my friends got freaked out, and we all grown ass men now, right? So let me see some of the comments over here because I'm missing them. Let's see. Strong vibes. Someone just woke up, but it's okay. He's just watching them. Curious energy. Ancient One spoke to him already. Yeah. I felt positive vibes when I entered. Message got across, so all the good. Now he's just waiting. Okay. Good. Thank you for the stars, Janice. Mahalo. Bacon. Tanya's crispy bacon and fried rice. Oh man. We'll say that while I'm sitting out here farthest away from any kind of food. I'm a panty and scared of anything paranormal. My son and wife, not at all. They see shadow figures in our house, and that freaks me out. It's a person, you know. It's a ghost. Ghosts were people. How many people do you know who are evil? How many people you know want to hurt you? Not really, huh? Most people, they're indifferent. They're just going about doing their own business, same as ghosts. But like, I remember one time I went to the Kunawai Ponds, Kunawai Park, to tell some ghost stories when I was doing the ghost tours. So here's the big Oahu Ghost Tours van that stopped off in the neighborhood, and a bunch of tourists come out to tell stories. And oh yeah, all the neighbors started popping their heads out, started walking up, started listening, and they were all curious, yeah. Just like the ghosts, yeah. We walk into their place, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on over here?" You know, and they gotta check them out. Hey, Phoebe. Huh? It's been a while since we have seen dark shadow figures at work, but recently it's picking up again. Shadow people in your driveway. Yeah, shadow people are cool. They're cool as long as they don't touch. Hat Man. I like to compare Hat Man to, like, you know, people see this Hat Man figure. Sorry, we're gonna go off on a little tangent for a minute. People see this little Hat Man figure every now and then. Like, you're wearing a fedora, wearing a stovetop hat. We were talking about it last night, weren't we?
Some type of hat, yeah.
Yeah.
Electric.
Boogie woogie woogie. Bowler hat, sometimes with a black trench coat, and it's usually just a walk, just somebody who's standing apart watching, yeah. More like a watcher, and then he turns around and walks away and disappears.
And they disappear in the freaking ground.
Or they disappear into the ground, yeah.
Or across the hill.
Or across the hay, yeah. Or yeah. So
Freaking disappear.
so you're gonna laugh when I say this, but when I think of Shadow Man or Hat Man, I think of Uncle Reuben. So like, the Shadow Realm is a realm very similar to ours, just on a different vibration, so we can't exactly perceive them, right? But they're still overlapping ours, and every now and then we can perceive shadow people when everything is perfectly aligned and right, or blah blah blah, whatever other theories you want to throw at that. But there are a few of us, like Uncle Reuben, who's a shaman, a realm walker, who can go to the other side and observe what's happening on the other side, like the kahuna, right? So they can peer into the other side, the shadow realm, the spirit realm, and they can watch and observe, just like their kahunas can peer into our realm and watch and observe. And that's why they know what's going on in their realm, how we are affecting them, and how the kahunas know how they are affecting us. That's why I think of Uncle Reuben when I think of shadow people. You know, I think of this old native Hawaiian man in the mountains, you know, with his little cowboy hat, staring off, you know, at the spirits and watching them. Are you a lot of a lot of spirits were people at one time? Just need to treat them like how you want to be treated too. Yep. Are you sure they're people or from another dimension? Well, you got to remember, another dimension isn't like some kind of Star Trek portal where you walk through and you're in some other space in the universe. We have many dimensions that overlap us. We only live in about, what, 6 or 7? But there are many dimensions above us and below us, and vibrations and all of that stuff that actually are overlapping with the space that we are occupying, right? My wife sees it your way. They know bother us, she says. I'm just a scaredy cat. Hey, bro, you know what? Me too. You guys have heard me scared before. And you know, when I start praying, sometimes I can't let myself be scared. I notice I'm scared by myself, and it's not because I'm scared to be by myself. It's when I'm by myself, I don't have anyone to protect. But when I'm in a group, I'm the protector, and so I can't fail. You know what I mean? But when I'm by myself, it's different. I have seen the tall man. It's freaking creepy, yeah. Ben, how's it? The hooded man without a face is the most spooky. Oh, mean.
So you know red light in your car?
No. Oh, it's a blinking?
It was.
Yeah, that's the security light.
Oh, I was like,
Is the light still on in my car?
No.
Okay, I hope that means my car didn't die.
Well, your
Find out
security
soon.
light is still on.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's good. Then it didn't die. Okay. No pressure. Did you ask something? I didn't see that, Brad. But yeah. It's the time of the year for spiritual activity. Brother, this is Hawaii. It's always a time of the year for spiritual activity. And especially when we go to places like this, ley lines and portals, but that's another life, another night of stories. Um, let's see, what other stories? Growing up, I had a lot of, as I said, I had a lot of experiences. I went to Kamehameha, not camp school. Hey Corey, how's it? Welcome to the party.
You should be here, sir.
Your wife's scolding you, bro. Aussie, you gotta come down, brother. You gotta come down. Minsu and Joy are with me tonight, Phoebe. So I graduated from Kamehameha schools, and I dormed up there for 4 years, from freshman to senior year. And I have some memories and recollections of like things going on. Sorry, things happening. Like in my dorm room one night, a bunch of us were hanging out, and outside the window, and I'm on the second floor, maybe, or third floor.
Incorrect.
Well, it wasn't the first floor. It must have been the second floor. It was the second floor. So I was sitting in my room on my bed on the second floor talking, and then I could feel a presence at my window. And so I told my friends, I'm like, hey, I feel somebody in the window. Somebody's at the window right now, a spirit or a ghost or something. And they're like, no, I don't believe in that kind of stuff, or blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, then would you guys mind if I invited him here? He doesn't feel bad. Feels like he's just curious. And they're like, yeah, go, whatever. They don't believe in that stuff. And so I invited the spirit to come in. And then right on my bed, you could see someone sit down, just a little imprint of a butt, right on top of my bed. And everybody would run away. We used to go do, ROTC, back when Kamehameha had ROTC. We used to dress up as in our BDUs, and we used to go cruising. That school is a great place to do that. I mean, it's on a mountain and forested, right? So there are many places where you can go that you won't get caught. And so we used to just go around and chill, and of course harass the girls in the girls' dormitory, right? That kind of stuff. Hey, Jubu, how's it? And so one night we had to go all the way to the top of the campus. That's probably about 700 steps, 800 steps. And we went to go harass the girls, and like on the first floor we looked in the window on the lobby side, and we saw a light in the back, like a candle light flickering. There was a little alcove where we couldn't see it, but that's where their piano was. I think there was a grand piano or baby grand piano. And then we started hearing the piano playing, and this is like 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning maybe. This is late at night. And we hear the piano playing in the dormitory with candlelight. And I'm like, brah, who the hell is this? And so we run around and to the other side where we could see the piano. And we run all the way around the building. By the time we get to the window where the piano is, no music, no light. We shine the lights inside. The piano is covered. Nothing is there. And we were freaked out, so we turned around and we ran back to our dorms. And the next morning at breakfast, we asked the girls, we're like, brah, your dorm is haunted, yeah? What's the matter with you guys? And they're like, what? Our dorm's haunted? We're like, yeah, your dorm's haunted. We were there last night to try to scare you guys, but we got scared. They're like, why? What happened? I'm like, brah, you guys' piano was playing by itself. And the girls looked at each other and they're like, oh yeah, that's right, the piano was playing last night, right? I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I slept so good. And I'm like, what? They're like, when the piano is playing, that means that the queen is watching over you as you sleep and protecting you. When you're a freshman, it freaks you out for the first week or so, but after that, you realize that it's her letting you know that she's there and protecting you, right? Oh, I wish I was on Kamehameha campus. That would be awesome. You like it, Bombucha. Okay. We stay at Judd. Sorry, when I'm talking, I'm not reading the comments at all because I get distracted. Well, I'm gonna go to Manoa. I hope to go to Manoa. What year? What year you grad? Come here, Mia. I grad there in '99. Is there a difference between the spirits you are speaking of that just cruise and hang out from those that are sent to you to cause you harm? Oh, big difference. So I've been told that because I've been doing these tours for a long time, a lot of the spirits of the locations that I would frequent have taken a liking and they kind of join me and they're guardians and they help protect as well, yeah? Oh, behind the girls' dorms, brah, that place, yeah, I don't know. We never went all the way to the top. Keopuolani Dormitory? No, no, no. That one was way too haunted for me. Too much mana. But yeah, the spirits that are sent to you to cause you harm, that sounds more like a curse. And yeah, there's a huge difference between the spirits that are in the area. If you respect the area, they will respect you. Their free will tell them, most of the time, if you respect the place, they in turn will respect you. But when you're dealing with a spirit that was sent to cause you harm, they no longer have free will. They are being sent by somebody or something else to harm you. That's kind of how a curse works, right? So at that point, like Akualele, right? In Hawaiian stories and lore, the Akualele, the fireballs, are actually bound by the kahuna. The kahuna would take the spirits and bind the spirits and force them to seek out their adversary, the kahuna's adversary, and kill them. Did you know a Nancy Jackson? I'm not too sure. Oh, Kamehameha Chapel is beautiful. Yeah. That whole place is awesome. I haven't been there for a while. I need to go back. Yeah, behind the girls' dorms for sure. Yeah. Ooh. What time now? Okay, 37. Now this thing I like talk. Yeah, we'll see. The energy kind of settled again.
Ovilus on.
I had to change the voice. Sorry, I know it sounds kind of weird, but because they were the same voice.
100.
Bro, you gonna keep talking? Say words that are relevant or words that I haven't seen 100 times already. Well, I guess that was relevant then, yeah. I still feel something here though. Yeah. I'd say it's about 30% of what it was. I want to go to Bishop Museum. Been a long time. Yeah. Oh man, we had a night where, for the Hawaiian Hauntings group, 2 nights actually, where the people who ran Bishop Museum okayed it, and the docent took us around at nighttime and told us ghost stories.
Fear.
That was cool. I tried to get that, but it wasn't really meant with the same optimism as the previous 2 ones were. I only got to go Kamehameha for summer school and explorations. Yeah. So you stayed
Are
in the
you afraid?
dormitories? No. Can you say something relevant, one of you guys, please? Could it possibly be the person's soul or spirit that wants to harm you that actually does the deed? For example, having pressed dreams. Oh, you're talking about choke neck. That is a different thing. So I believe, for me, I don't have a lot of fear because I have more understanding. But for someone who is not as weird as me, ghosts are to be afraid of. And when you start to have that pressing ghost, that is terrifying. And yeah, I'm speaking all big here, but I've never had the pressing ghost before. So, I doubt I'll be speaking the same way if I actually had the pressing ghost. But the pressing ghost could be, wait, hold on. Brad, I'm not, oh no, did you know Nancy Jackson? I don't know Nancy Jackson. Sorry. Oh, so many comments on this. I can't keep track.
Come.
Oh,
Hmm?
come. Where? Persons. I guess a person could harm you, and they could cause you. They could do that, but you have to allow them to. Yeah. And by being afraid of it, you are allowing them to harm you. By being afraid of them, by showing them fear, you are granting them power over you. It's the same way as a person. If you fear somebody, you are granting them power over you and control over you. And that's the reason why, like, for the most part, I mean, I'll tell the story later this month, but I had something that spoke to me in Latin and was taunting me and threatening me. And I'm sitting back like, yeah, I got Michael the Archangel and God right here. You can do whatever, you can say whatever the hell you want. You know what I mean? I wasn't afraid of this thing that spoke to me in Latin and invaded my dreams and all of that stuff. Sometimes it could be a little scary and daunting, and it does shake me a little bit, but that's kind of where your faith is tested, I guess, right? I had pressing ghosts two times in two different houses. Oh, okay. So the pressing ghost, hold on, I'll go share the story. Then we can go off on tangents. Okay, here's another story I wanted to share about the house. Yeah, this is one of my favorite stories. It's kind of creepy. Um, Charity's here, so she can vouch. And please correct me if I'm wrong. Um, she's part of the story. So years ago, um,
Group.
group. Years ago, we were having a party at the house. Yeah, Charity is the mother of my children. Um, we are having a New Year's Eve party at the house, and I guess we was
Hiding.
drinking. We was drinking and stuff, and I don't know what the heck went on, what happened, but as a guy, it's always my fault. I said something that probably pissed her off, and she ran away, and and I was just kind of stewing, like blah blah blah, whatever. I was already feeling good and stuff, and then I decided to go look for her. The regular drama, right? And I went to look for her, and I couldn't find her in the house. And I'm like, getting like, brah, where the hell did she go? So I decided to go walk around the house, thinking maybe she's in the backyard. I walk around the house, I cannot find her. I ask people, hey, did you see Charity? No, nobody's seen her. I have no idea where the hell she is. I walk around the house again. This time I get into the back by the river. I mean, right behind my house is Kaneohe Stream. And I get into the backyard, it's all dark, and I hear. Sorry, Charity. I hear her crying, sobbing down at the river. And I'm already feeling it. I'm like, oh, hi, Auntie Wendy. I'm already feeling, because I'm already a little buzzed, and I'm like,
Strange.
strange. I'm like, brah, what are you doing down there at the river? What's the matter with you? Get in your old collie, get up here right now. Come on, get up here. And she just kept crying at the river. And I'm like, whatever, I gotta go walk down because, I'm the guy and it's always my fault. I want to mess up. So I go walk down. And as I get a little bit closer, I can see her. I can see this person at the edge of the rocks crying in the river or crying at the edge of the river. And I mean, this is New Year's Eve. You get the fireworks going off and illuminating the whole area for a second or two, and I could see, and I'm walking right towards her, and I'm all muddy. I get the kind of California grass all over the place, and I'm like, I get to a few feet away from her. All of a sudden, from my yard behind me, I hear somebody, Joe, what the hell are you doing down there? And it's Charity standing in my yard at the fence. And I looked at her, and I'm like, wait, what? And I turned around and I looked towards who I thought was her down at the river crying. And there was nobody there. That girl that I had thought was Charity just disappeared. I remembered that. I was like, I walked back up and I'm like, a little shocked and shook. And then I'm like, you know what? I just need to drink some more. And then I forgot about it. So, yeah. Oh man, I don't know what the heck that thing. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was a mo'o wahine or something. I've also heard that there's a little girl in our house, and the mother was in the river, and or they used to live in this area, and then the little girl died, and the mother was looking for her. Yeah, I kind of forget what happened after that, but I did remember that there was heavy drinking after that. So I don't remember. That's probably why I don't remember. But I brought a friend of mine to our house, and she said that there's a little girl, and she described her age. She described, I think she was about 8, 9 years old, maybe a little younger. And she was wearing like more modern clothes, but not like modern, but more like 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, something like that. That's kind of the impression I got. And that she lives in her house, and that she thinks that we're her family, and she eats dinner with us, and bless you, and all of that stuff. And it's like, okay, I never heard that. And this was like a few years ago. And it's the first time I heard that a few years ago. And actually, that was the second time I heard it, because years before that, I was talking to my friend Lorene from Haunted Hawaii, and she asked if she could astral travel to my house, to prove to me that she could astral travel. And I'm like, sure, okay, go ahead. So I gave her my address. And a few days later, she called me back, and she explained to me, she's like, oh, yeah. So I went to your house, Joe. Who's the big Hawaiian guy? I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I was greeted at the property line by this big Hawaiian guy who wanted to ask me what I was doing there. I told him that Joe invited me, and he watched me as I walked into the house and I walked through the house. She described the layout of all the rooms, where the couches were, where the TV was, where the beds were. She knew which one was my room. She also told me that she saw a little girl. And she's like, oh, but who's a little girl in the back of the house? And I'm like, what? That's the first time I'd heard about it. My other friend told me years later that was the second time, and I'm like, I had no idea there was a little girl hunting the house. But then during COVID, this little girl would play with my daughter, Makamai. She'd be, headset in her room, right, for the computer classes. She'd close the door, and she would get mad at me because she thinks I'm jiggling the door handle, you know, and I'm not. But the door handle would jiggle like somebody's trying to open the door. And then like she would feel somebody playing with her hair and that kind of stuff as well. So that's a little girl. I don't, nobody got bad vibes from her, so I'm not worried about her at all. But yeah, that's some of the stories about my house and how I grew up and that kind of stuff. There's always a lot of stories. There's a lot of things. Well, we're always taught to respect the spirits, right? The spirits are all of our kupuna. They're all of our ancestors, and all of that good stuff, right? Yeah, she must have thought he was Lolo. Probably. I remember I thought she was Lolo when she was down at the river. So she probably thought the same of me. You should research the story. Uh, when it comes to my house, I have 3 6-year-olds in my house. So I kind of just want to let it settle. You know what I mean? I don't want to stir anything up. There was a time when me and my daughter investigated on the live with the spirit box this girl, and she came through and gave her name. I forget what it was, but when we started asking her questions, this male figure came up and shut her up. Kind of like quiet now. You're not supposed to say anything. I don't remember Makana having the pressing ghost. I do remember that's another story I'm going to tell about the faces at the window. I'll tell that story a little bit later this month. Oh, and Matt, no worry, brother. I like the questions. It makes me think. Yeah, I don't think of these questions unless somebody asks them. Yeah. Huh? Branches. Yeah. Could it possibly be the person's solar spirit that wants to harm you, that actually does the deed? For example, pressing dreams. I'm guessing you need pressing ghosts, right? Um, it could be. I've heard of pressing ghost stories like that's the bed my grandpa died in, and whoever sleeps in that bed gets choked or pressed. I've heard stories where the pressing ghost just follows one person from house to house, from bed to bed. I've heard it where it's the bed, it's just one random occurrence. Um, yeah,
I've had it.
you've had a couple times. So Have you had any auditory, any visual?
Corey was up, I think, one time. He saw me struggling, and then he said I growled in my sleep when he was trying to wake me
Well, I growl in my sleep when people try to wake me up too.
up. He said it was
No.
like a evil, like a,
Oh,
yeah, when he tried to wake me
how long ago?
up.
Faye.
I think it was this year. It was early.
Suzette, how's it?
I don't know.
Oh, this year.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord. Hey, Faye, it's calling you. I've never heard that thing say Faye before. Let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, I can zoom in. See if I can zoom in on this one too. Okay, now you can unzoom in. Thank you, brah.
Funny thing is, I don't even remember what I was dreaming about.
So Michael cannot stop. I'm guessing if you're asking me if Michael can't stop the choking ghost from happening, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll save that for the story. I have a lot of stories. Like, oh, I know a story about that. I'm saving that for the night I tell you guys about Michael the Archangel and his stories. Make sure that thing will say my name. What was that? Okay. Was that you? Okay. Well, it's probably this because, yeah, this is like hours old. I don't know what the ringtones are. Yeah, no worries, Scott. You'll be fine, bro. I had so many pressing incidents to have a complete understanding about these. I've had too many incidents to have a complete understanding about these occurrences. Yeah, it did. It said Fay, F-A-Y. Hold on, one question. Michael will let it happen if it's meant to happen, but you have to exercise your rights and ask him to make it stop. And my faith tells me if you ask him, if you ask him to make it stop and it doesn't, you need to ask yourself why. You know, because I mean, I can ask Michael the Archangel for $1 million. He's not going to give it to me, right? There's a reason why. There's something in there for you to learn, I think, right? Matt, so there's this book called The Terror That Comes in the Night. It's written by David something. I don't have any devices in front of me that have Wi-Fi. They're all being used right now. The book is about a doctor who studied the phenomenon, the choking ghost phenomenon, for about 15 years to prove that it was actually a medical condition called sleep apnea or related to something like that. The interesting part is in this book, the more and more he researches it, the more and more he cannot explain. The more and more he's leaning towards unexplained phenomenon, possibly paranormal activity. He researches all over the world. This is hands down the most commonly occurring haunting on the planet throughout history. Every culture has a different word for it. And in his book, The Terror That Comes in the Night, I think it's the Lao culture calls it the Dabsog, D-A-B-T-S-O-G. The Japanese call it something else. I can't remember. I usually remember. You know, other people call it Old Hag. In Canada, it's called the Old Hag, or it's called hagging, or, you know, some people believe it's a witch. Sometimes it's accompanied by a woman laughing, or red eyes, or, you know, a whole bunch of different things. And it doesn't have anything to do with culture. It doesn't have anything to do with location. It doesn't have any boundaries, even depending on the race, the gender, the ethnicity, the health of the individual. It happens sporadically to people, seemingly at random. Although, as I said before, sometimes it'll happen to the same person all the time, no matter where they go, but under certain circumstances. There was a young lady who said that whenever she would sleep without her husband, she would get choked. But when she would sleep in the same bed with her husband, she wouldn't get choked. I've talked to people who are afraid to sleep on their back and they only sleep on their sides because this happens so regularly, so often. Mountain witch in Japan is Yamamba. Okay, that sounds like a place I want to visit. The dream you had of the pressing ghost? Yeah. Yeah, I think that would scare me too. Not being able to breathe sounds scary to me. You know, bro, what is it in Japan? I know what it's called. Where's Julie? Julie knows all the Japanese stuff. Kanashibari. That's the one. Kanashibari. Hawaii, it's called choke neck. There's a book written about it from the firefighters in Kaka'ako Fire Station because it happens to them, right? It happened to many of them. To the point where one of the stories is like, it happened to a firefighter as he dozed off on the sofa or on a recliner, and all the firefighters were up in the same room watching TV, and he wakes up being choked, and everybody looks at him, and nobody will help him. Nobody will touch him. You know, and he's watching everybody, and he's like, what the hell? Why are they not helping me? You know, and they're just like, no, touch him. Let him go through it. He'll be fine. Don't worry. You know, the thing with that one, that happens actually at a lot of the fire stations because that's why there's a lot of tea leaves around all the fire stations. And the fire stations, you got to remember, in Hawaii, they are government land. And so even in the 1800s, they were still land that was owned by the government. When the plagues came, when the mass burials came, when smallpox, influenza, yellow fever, all of that thing swept through the island and killed thousands of people in a week. Where do you think they did mass burials? On private property in someone's backyard, in the farmland, on the beach, or you think they buried them on the government land? That's why when you walk around downtown, get so much mass burials downtown by Iolani Palace, by the state capitol, by all, that's all government buildings, right? Across the street you get the courthouse, you get the post office, you get the passport building, all over there. That's where all the mass burials were done, in that area, right? And it seems that a lot of the firefighters have that in common, where potentially mass burials were done where they stay, and that's why they get choked. My pressing ghost experience is the worst thing that's happened to me, and I'm terrified to happen again. I don't sleep with my hands behind my head anymore because of that. So things that work for the pressing ghost is prayer. Pray before you go to sleep. Don't be afraid. Hold your breath and just start to say the Lord's Prayer. That, I have never heard of an occurrence where where the person that was choking
Friends.
and did that did not get rid of it by doing that, right? Under Walmart, yep. I don't know what Walmart wasn't anything. Walmart was a swamp where a lot of people were buried because it was a swamp. Friends and pain. That pressing ghost is so scary where you're paralyzed and all you can move are your eyes. Yep, and your body is just freeze and it can't move. Yeah, pray. Hold your breath, don't show fear, don't give it energy. Like, fear is energy, anger is energy. I know it's kind of hard to control when you're being choked, right? It's kind of hard to control your stuff. Succubus is slightly different. Is slightly different, brother. Yeah, succubus and incubus are different. We'll talk about that later this month as well, though. Those things are no good, obviously, but yeah. Any other stories? Choking ghosts. Okay, here's the one I usually tell on the walking tour. Or I would when we could go to the fire station. It's a Glenn Grant story. I like this story because Robert shared this story with me. Robert Sepulveda. I heard him sharing it on the tour. Glenn Grant. It's informative, is what it is. Glenn Grant was told this story by somebody on the tour. The guy said that he would have bouts where he would be choked in the middle of the night, but his doctors told him it's just it's sleep apnea, right? And they recommended that he goes to he requested that he goes to their sleep clinic because he wants to make sure that it's sleep apnea. And this is decades ago, right? But they still had equipment and stuff. And so they said, okay, he wanted to make sure that he wasn't going crazy. He wanted them to measure. He wanted them to witness as he was getting choked and tell them what they saw. Tell him what they saw, right? And so he goes to the sleep apnea clinic and goes to sleep. And the bed
He
he's
will
in,
touch you.
he will touch you. Ah, no, I'm good. I haven't used that app very much. I don't think I like that app. Unless you're talking about God, but yeah. Yeah, so he went to sleep in this bed, and this bed had weights, right? So they would weigh, they would have the scale and stuff, and they would weigh you while you're in the bed. And it had a whole bunch of different things, right? But the weight was the main thing over here. So he lies in bed, he goes to sleep. I think the weight was like 150, 160, something like that. And of course, in the middle of the night, he wakes up and he starts choking. He can't breathe. He gets their attention. The doctor comes running in to see and to look and to see as this guy is choking. He looks at the weight, and the weight is now registering that the bed is weighing about 200 pounds, and he watches it move up to about 220, 230. I think it goes up to about either 250 or 300 pounds, right before it drops back down to his body weight, and the guy sits up and is no longer being choked. So I've always found that interesting. It's more of the data that's fascinating to me, right? I've always recited the Lord's Prayer to be released from those situations. And does it work, Matt? Actually, from what I've heard, that works is going to church. You got to do work. Um, I'm very proud of the girl that showed me the dolls, her haunted dolls, because I told her to better her life, she would have to go to church. And so she got baptized. She received Eucharist. She received confirmation. She went to RCIA. She did all of that stuff over the next year or two. And I'm like, and she goes to church 3 times a week. And I'm like, oh my God, somebody took my advice for once. But then she keeps diving into that stuff, keeps getting other haunted dolls. Maybe that's her calling. I don't know. Hey, Justine, how's it? Had a visitation while traveling to Minneapolis. Murders every night. Had nightmares. In my sleep, I automatically go to the Lord's Prayer. Yep. I have done the Lord's Prayer in my sleep, in my dream. It's it's kind of cool. I like those dreams where you have enough of a peace of mind to do that. But yeah, that's good. Good. Yeah, you. So here's a little hint from saying the Lord's Prayer, or if you're Buddhist, do a Buddhist mantra or whatever your faith is. Right? You keep repeating it over and over again until you exactly met. It may take a few times, but it does work. I found you say it over and over again until you start to draw strength from it. Like the first time, sometimes I pray. The first time I'll pray, I'm praying because I'm scared. And I'm not thinking of the words. I'm just stumbling to get the words out of my mouth and to get the prayer out. But then I'll just say it again. Clouded. Yeah, kind of like that. But then I'll say it again. And then I'll say it again. And each time I repeat it, it has more conviction. I think of the words and I meditate on the words as I'm saying it. And it becomes stronger and stronger. And it takes away the fear more and more and more each time, right? So yeah, that kind of stuff, that's how it works for me. But yeah, any questions, any stories, any comments, anything at all, you guys? How are you guys doing? You guys sleeping already? Joy, you sleeping?
Almost.
I've been told my voice is very soothing, and so when I talk, it tends to put people to sleep. Maybe not when I'm caffeine loaded, though. In my experience, it felt like my shoulders and chest were pinned down to the bed, and my back was arching while I tried to push up against the choking ghost. Shoulders and chest were pinned down to the bed. Like face down, yeah? Yeah, and my back was arching. Oh, wow. Sometimes I've heard it where it's sitting on your stomach, another room. It's sitting on your chest. Sometimes I've heard where it's hands wrapped around your throat. Sometimes it's just like your whole body. Tell some Glenn Grant stories. I will. I will. Let me think of one. Nah, I'm gonna do that one the other night. We're gonna do a night of Mo'o, the lizard people in Hawaii. I'm gonna prepare for that one pretty good. Hey, no Hana Hana. I'm enjoying your shows now that you're on YouTube. Yeah, thank you. I tried calling for help, but just a quiet squeal from my throat. No, who are you calling? Who are you gonna call for help with your voice? You gotta call with your prayers inside your head. Inside your head, yeah. I mean, I thought about that too. Like, yeah, but if you call for help for the person next to you sleeping, all they can do is watch. Maybe they can smack you a little bit. I don't know, but I don't know if that will do anything. But they'll just watch you, yeah. I had that experience. It freaked me out. I could not say anything. Let me show you guys a picture, actually. This may be something similar, and it may or it may not be. The person is blurred out, so I'm comfortable sharing this picture. Bruh. How do I not know how to use my iPad now? Favorites. There you go. I did save it to my favorites. So here's a picture of an entity going over her as she's sleeping. You see that, right? They just go up to each one. There's this little mist. I don't think this is a choking. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is not the choking ghost, but it's something kind of similar, perhaps. You guys saw this one before?
Mm-mm.
This was a Latin-speaking ghost.
Wow.
This was the first picture that started the whole case.
Wow.
That included Bobby Mackey's and everything.
Mm.
Yeah. And here was the second one. But this has her face. I'll show it in person, but not in. Yeah. Here's a little double. Yeah, of her.
Reminds me of the first picture I ever sent you.
Yeah. Smack them. Yeah, faith is easy when you have proof. But faith is not that easy when you need it, and when you don't have proof. Nothing comes out when trying to call for help. Yeah. And a lot of experiences differ. Sometimes it does. Other times it's like you will wake up with somebody choking you, and you see a person choking you, and the people next to you are watching you choking and not seeing the person or anything. And then when the thing jumps off, you're like, what the hell? Why were you watching that lady choke me? That's kind of Glenn Grant stories there. That one feels more like possession. Yeah, that's more of a possession picture, all right. Yeah. But it kind of reminds me of like that. Everyone has a similar choking ghost experience. Yeah, it's fascinating. Left. What left? And what did you say? Spring? Let me find that book if I can connect to Wi-Fi on this. I mean, each of these have its own little thing. Hey, it's working. Sweet. David Hubbard, I think it is. I'm trying not to mix up the guy that does the Scientology thing,
Oh, L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah. The terror that comes in the night. David Hufford. Close. Hufford. Here. If you guys are interested in this, wait, let me just get one, not 20 of them. If this thing like work. Yeah, whatever. Here you go. How do we start talking about home ghost stories and end up showing this picture? smacked the choking ghost, but that's a different story for another time. I'm surprised you had the choking ghost Melody. Your cats never scare him away. Or what? Your cats was watching. That's why I don't like cats, yeah? Like, oh, look, she's choking. Let's watch. Let's see what's going to happen.
Slur.
Slur.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, well, I guess you don't like me making a joke about cats. You're welcome. I tried fighting, but I could not move. Let me see. Yeah. I wanted to scream, but I could not. I think it sensed I was fighting, and I finally couldn't move, and my scream finally came out. It scared my dad. I did not relax for quite a time. Oh no, I understand. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, that's the one. Sorry, it looks like sitting on her body, like oppressing, but shoots I always feel before I see. Yeah, you're right. That's more of a possession, but that reminded me of that. Cats can see things. Oh, okay, yeah. I meant to order the book, but I'll be honest, I have like 6 books I need to read before I can read that one. No, no, no. That was good. That was good. I think I ran out of stories to tell about my house. And don't worry. I mean, we have about what day is today?
Sorry, the fourth.
4th. So we still get about 27 more hours of ghost stories this month. I'm sure we'll have time to go over anything else, right? Thank you, Scott, for the stars. Tomorrow is Saturday. I don't know. We'll see. I hope to go out, but we'll find. Melody, you keep jumping phones. Now you're on YouTube. But yeah, we are gonna call it here, guys. So I'm gonna play with my setup and see if I can figure it out a little bit better this time. But thank you guys for tuning in. Let me go ahead and I'm not gonna. Yeah. Well, what the heck? Now this thing like act up. Look, look.
Fine.
My cat looked up at the stairwell and hissed. Uh, just right now? If you want, you can do prayers first. I know sometimes the stories can affect people, yeah? We will do a prayer. Since the shadow shoots through the blinds, and oh my. That's strange. Yeah, we got some weird stuff going tonight. Let's do a little prayer first. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray, and do thou, Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan and all evil spirits who wander the earth seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. Lord, we ask you today to watch over us, and first, Lord, we thank you for everything that you've given to us, for food, shelter, family, affection, love, opportunities, and everything that you've given to us, even the lessons that have been difficult to learn. We pray that you continue to forge us into powerful beings that can do your bidding. We pray that you temper us with patience and gratitude and kindness, and that we can show others the way. We pray that we are kept safe from the things that go bump in the night, and that we may learn from them and we may face them with you head on. Once again, we ask for your protection over us, over our loved ones, over our homes, our vehicles, our houses, and everything else, Lord, that we can. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, amen. Yeah. Whew. But yeah, all right, guys. Take care. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.
When?
Now. When?